now, and we just had a burst of lake effect rain that came through. It's pretty convective. Man, I wish it was daylight right now so I can go to the lakefront to see the water spouts if there are any. But yeah, surprisingly, the stars just came out. We just had like a downpour like 5 minutes ago, which is why I went out to film. Everything's wet outside, as you can see. We just had a lake effect downpour here. And it's pretty darn windy outside. The winds are about 20 to 30. Gusts about 35. Sorry, the winds are like 15 to 25 with gusts of like 30, 35. Sorry, 20 to 30 are the gusts. Gusts are peaking at about 35. So the winds are a little too strong for water spouts, but there's a slightly elevated chance of water spouts tomorrow morning. I'm going to try to go to the lakefront to see if I can catch any, because they said that by tomorrow afternoon, the convection should lift further north and head towards more Watertown and Johnson County, and not Johnson, but like Jefferson County. Yeah. So I'm just going to go off the page for a second. I'm not ending the live stream. There we go. Should be a little better now. So, while this rain is convective and there is cold air aloft, there hasn't been any hail in Oswego or Grapple. There's been some near Watertown, as there's been some pretty stronger convection. Now another lake effect cloud is coming in. I just looked on the radar. There's some more showers coming in. Not heavy rain, just showers. Light, moderate showers. I'm going to check the radar one more time. I haven't checked in like 10 minutes. When I said there were... Well, speaking of the devil, it just started. Lake effect rain just started again. So... There we go. Yeah, this is lake effect rain. This is coming off of Lake Ontario. The reason for this is, even though it's rain, it's not snow. The lake temperature is very warm because we've been having temperatures in the 80s for the last several months. You know, temperatures. So right now we're having a mask where the air aloft at the 850 millibar level, the heights is down to 5400. When your heights are down to 5400, that means the 32 degree line, the temperature at 5,000 feet is below freezing, at or below freezing, normally below. Normally, when your heights are 5400 or even 5410, you would be talking about snow at ground level. Snow, yeah. But, you know, we still have the high sun angle, and the ground's still warm, so it's closer down to the surface. It's still too warm for snow. So if you get convective precipitation when you're having heights that low, it will likely be grapple or soft snow or even small hail. In fact, the tornado outbreak that hit Long Island the day after, 2 days after Veterans Day on Saturday, November 13th, 2021, that day that we had those tornadoes, the heights were actually below 5,400. It's very, very unheard of. It's very rare to get severe weather when your heights are that low. The reason this happened was because severe thunderstorms that were coming out of New Jersey, you know, they were strong, but they weren't too severe, encountered water temperatures in the mid-60s. So with this very cold heights, very low heights, coming over very, warm waters coming off Long Island, coming into Long Island, and you had wind shear because you had southwest winds coming in like this, southwest winds like this. Winds at the surface, the flow aloft was west-southwest. So you had wind shear, you had a cape, and you had tornadoes. You had a couple EF1s, but most were EF0s. Again, lake effect right now. It's about to get pretty heavy because there is some convection just west of me. I just checked the radar. The heavy stuff should be over me in about 2 minutes. Oh, it's raining again. Yep. Lake effect rain here in Oswego, New York. Current temperatures in about the upper 50s. Keep in mind, if you're going to go a few miles away from the lake, it's probably going to be in the low 50s. But we're getting winds off the lake. In fact, the edge of some of the convection is right about there. So I checked the radar. The rain to the west isn't too heavy. But based on how the sky looks, there's probably some snow just about 3,000 or 4,000 feet up. Yeah, I'm in Oswego right now. I'm just near the college. I live off campus where it's much cheaper to live. It's only like $450 a month here, or like $500. Oop, now it's pouring. Now we're having a downpour. Well, not a true downpour, but it is raining moderately now. All right. It's a bummer the cold air couldn't have been more stronger, so it could have been snow. Because I did hear southern big time snows in early November. Hopefully something like what happened last year in the South Towns will happen here. Because I want to see a few feet of snow. I really want to see that. But considering the NAO is negative and it may continue being negative for most of the winter, this winter Oswego is going to get more snow than the last several years. But I still think it's going to be below the long-term average, mainly because of the temperature of Lake Ontario being very warm. However, Watertown, New York City will have above average snowfall. Watertown will, get the normal, will get more lake effect than normal because of how warm the lake's been. And being further away from the lake, a lot of that precip will fall out as very, very heavy snow. And it's going to be a very cold snow in Watertown. So yes, Watertown will have well above average snowfall, maybe even record amount of snow. As for Oswego, I believe it's going to be below average. Not well below, not record low like what we had last year, but below average. But still more seasonable. So instead of getting 100 or 120 inches, Oswego should be getting between 60 and 80. And as for New York City, I'm expecting between 30 and 50 inches for New York City, or 40 to 60, actually. Yeah, we just had a little burst of rain come through. Right now, the Labrador Sea, Sea of Labrador, I'm going to call it the Sea of Labrador, is still pretty warm. So that means that blocking will likely continue for most of the winter. Also, the PNA is very positive, so that should continue the NAO being negative. But then it should head back towards neutral territory towards the middle end of October. And from some of the models I've seen, there should be some pretty big cold outbreaks in the Northeast. And some of the models have shown some pretty robust lake effect snows for Syracuse and Watertown. So definitely looking forward to that. And that's just for next week. The following week looks to be pretty cold and snowy here in Oswego. Or cold and just dreary with some snow. It didn't show snow for Oswego itself, but just south, like Syracuse, getting snow. So, and it's only $1.50 bus ride to go to Syracuse from here. And me and my mom have discussed that I'm most likely going to be staying in Oswego. I'm probably not going to live here anymore because this is student housing. I mean, I don't have to be a student to stay here, as not everyone who stays here is a student. However, I'm probably going to try to have my own apartment. There's an apartment building in downtown Oswego that I might be moving to. It's for people with disabilities. So I'm probably going to move there. It's for basically people who are low income and people with disabilities, so I'll probably move there. And also, rent in Oswego is very affordable. It's about half. It's more than 60% less than in New York City, and not too far from Syracuse. I mean, I'm most likely going to be working for WSYO after I graduate school, hopefully as a reporter. But more than likely, I'm going to be doing behind-the-scenes work, as being a reporter is very competitive. And I do have a lot of video editing experience, so most likely I'll probably do behind the scenes stuff, but maybe some reporting, being an MMJ, a multimedia journalist. And probably during the weekends when I'm not going to be working, I'll probably be doing Uber or Lyft or deliveries. I'll probably be doing Uber. I'll probably do the delivery stuff in Uber, Syracuse, Oswego, Central New York region. And I'll probably still continue to do my Amazon work because I like driving big vans. Anyway, still raining here in Oswego. Lake effect rain here. It's not a long band. It's kind of broken convection because there's a lot of cold air loft. The lake's pretty warm. And the reason it's not a continuous band is because it hasn't formed. The band hasn't officially, fully developed yet. But some of the models are showing a band forming heading just north of Oswego. In fact, this is a type of setup that will produce water spouts. So hopefully tomorrow I might see a few water spouts tomorrow. So yeah, sorry. Just my notification came in that my phone's a little low in battery. Yeah, it's about 20%. So I'm going to check the radar one more time. Anyone leaving comments? Live chat. Okay, I don't see any comments. Okay. There's the edge of the cloud. I don't know if you can see this, but that's clouds there. So I'm looking at the clouds right now, seeing how fast they're moving. Trying to see how high the base of the clouds. I would say around 3 or 4, between 4 and 5,000 feet. Normally when there's lake effect, the cloud base is much lower, but this is a very cold air loft air mass, so the cloud base is a little bit high. There's some more cumulus over there. I don't know if you can see it, but cumulus. You see that pink coloration? That's the rain that came through. The reason that you can see the reflection really well, it's maybe because there's some snow or grapple falling at the base of those clouds. Those clouds are pretty high up, and the air loft is pretty cold. Unfortunately, I'm having an issue with Streamlabs. I can't stream it on my new YouTube channel, on my old YouTube channel, Severe Weather Center. So that's why I'm streaming it directly on the phone. Now it's pretty wet here from the rain, so I'm going to check the radar one more time. So I just checked the radar. There's a very impressive cell. I just checked the radar. There's a very potent cell that's just to my north, literally a couple miles, just off the shore. That's probably why you're seeing that orangey sky. And there's more convection to my west and northwest, but that should pass just north of here. And considering that we're getting a fetch off the lake, we should likely continue to get more precipitation here, more lake effect. Yeah, see? This is all lake effect rain. Mostly lake effect, a little bit of from cold air loft, but models did show the convection building in earlier, later today, and then a band developing by early morning tomorrow. I'm really hoping that we're going to get a very snowy winter here, both in New York City and Oswego. I want some really good snows, and hopefully the fact that we're having a moderate El Nino with warm water in Labrador will help that. We could have potentially a repeat of 2009, 2010, because things are looking similar to that, where you're having a moderate El Nino, warm waters in Labrador, so very negative NAO for most of the winter. So strong blocking. So it looks like central and northern New England won't get much snow from this winter, but parts of the Northeast, especially Mid-Atlantic, will get significant snows. Very likely. I would say at least 2 or 3 snowstorms. Because with the blocking pattern, any storm that tries to go north Say like it wants to go into the Great Lakes. Instead of going into the Great Lakes, it'll force the storm to dive southeastward and then kind of curve back up as it goes off the coast. So that means that there's going to be a big stripe of snow stretching from the Midwest, especially the central Midwest, like Iowa, Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York City. So this stretch should be from the central mid-Atlantic region towards southern New England. So New York City should be somewhere in the middle of that snow belt we're going to see this winter. Snow belt will be mostly from storms that can't really go north, but it will be forced to like go parallel or dive south and then go up the coast. But the track, considering this is an El Nino, we're not going to get a subtropical jet stream that's going to go like this or like this. It's going to be more like, it's going to be forced down because of the NAO being negative. And this is not a very strong El Nino, so we are going to get a lot of cold blasts. It's not like 2015, 2016, where you had a very strong El Nino, record strong, in fact, and you had very strong forcing of the jet stream being shoved north. Like, even though you had a positive PNA, the cold air did not just surge into the country. It stayed actually north like this. This year, we may have the classic PNA and then troughiness going down like that. So, yeah, that's very likely this winter. I'm going to make a video on it later this evening. I'm just walking outside trying to investigate the lake effect rain. This is the first lake effect event that I'm witnessing of the 2023-2024 winter season. Yes, this is technically a winter event because it's lake effect. Lake effect is a winter type setup. Late fall, early winter type setup. However, some lake effect events can even happen in February, like in 2006, 2007. There was a big lake effect snow event that hit Oswego in February of 2007 because the lake was still warm. You had a very significant cold blast. So I'm thinking this winter, our lake effect events will be a December, January affair, but even November too. Because I'm seeing evidence that we could have a ridging over the West Coast and troughiness on the East Coast continuing. So things could get very interesting in just a few weeks. Thank you for watching. I'll make more videos in a little bit.